This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. Donald Trump's attempt to forum shop and get a better judge for himself in federal court in Miami against Michael Cohen in a new lawsuit he just filed yesterday has backfired. Not only did he not get the type of judge that he was looking for, he got exactly the opposite of that, and somebody that's going to look at the lawsuit, I believe, for what it is, which is a press release masquerading as a lawsuit, as a list of grievances looking in search of causes of action that are appropriate to be filed in a courtroom. Darren Gales, who used to be on the Miami Circuit Court, state court bench, supremely well considered, very judicious, very sober, a very intelligent jurist, got promoted to the federal bench by Obama. He is the first openly gay black federal judge in America when he was confirmed. And Darren Gales is the judge that's been assigned to the Cohen case that Trump has filed. Now let's look at what happened to Donald Trump in the past and how we even got here. Why are we even talking about a newly filed Miami lawsuit against a New York resident in Michael Cohen for things that he has said in his podcast, some of which on the MeidasTouch network, or things that he wrote in his books, Revenge, or the like? How do we even get here? Why are we in federal court, and why did Donald Trump file it down there? And why did Donald Trump shoot for Miami, hoping for what I'll describe, and how that's completely backfired? In Mar-a-Lago, it must be upside down day because they got the exact opposite of the judge that they were looking for. Donald Trump, recall, has filed a number of lawsuits down in Florida. He claims to live at Mar-a-Lago, which is in Palm Beach County, Florida, which is within the Southern District of Florida, a federal district. That Southern District stretches about 80 miles from the top at Vero Beach all the way down through the Keys, down to Key West. In between, you have major courthouses. You have one in Vero Beach, one in West Palm Beach, one in Fort Lauderdale, one in Miami, one in Key West. Where you file the case is usually where you live, and then the clerk's office spins a wheel, an electronic wheel, and randomly assigns. If you file in Vero Beach, there's only one or two judges up there. If you file in West Palm Beach, the same thing. In Fort Lauderdale, you have a few more. In Miami, you have the most. Donald Trump filed a case against Hillary Clinton 2 years ago, similarly grasping at straws, a list of grievances, a political hatchet job, in an attempt to claim some sort of conspiracy by Hillary Clinton, Robert Mueller, the DNC's leadership, and all of that against Donald Trump. That was laughed out of court, finally, by federal judge Don Middlebrook sitting in West Palm Beach. Not only that, but he sanctioned, ultimately, Donald Trump and Alina Habba, his lawyer, over $1 million related to that filing. And in a 50-page decision just about 6 months ago, went through why the case had no merit. It was filed in bad faith. It was nothing but a political hatchet job, the judge's words, not mine, and sanctioned Trump accordingly. Trump tried to attack Middlebrooks by claiming he was a Clinton appointee. Who cares? Every federal judge is appointed by somebody of one party or another. And that was, of course, laughed out of court when he tried to move to disqualify Middlebrooks. Why am I talking so much about Don Middlebrooks? Because that's the very judge that Donald Trump wants to avoid at all costs, because he knows, like a buzzsaw through a daisy field, his case is going to lose in front of Don Middlebrooks because all of his cases are without merit.
Now let's take a quick break to talk about our next sponsor, Paired. My wife and I, we're super competitive people, especially with each other. The other day, we were going back and forth about, well, who knew our relationship history better? So we took to Paired. Paired, it's a relationship app for couples. You and your partner, you download the app, pair together, and every day Paired gives you questions, quizzes, and games to have fun, stay connected, and deepen your conversations. You'll never believe what I found out about my partner through using Paired. Apparently, she really wanted to start playing pickleball. Now, I had no idea. The Paired prompt asked her what was something she wanted to start doing this month. She said pickleball, and now we're in a weekly game with our neighbors. It's simple and often hilarious. Each day, you get a quiz to play or a question to answer, and you can't see your partner's answer until you answer yourself. It's been so funny to see how close our answers are sometimes, but then how different they are other times. It's really made for some great conversations. Whether you're just a few dates in or have been together a long time, it's time to lighten the mood and have fun with your partner by using Paired. Head to paired.com/legalaf to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off if you sign up for a subscription. Just head to paired.com/legalaf to sign up today. Connect with your partner every day using Paired. A happier relationship starts here.
So then, fast forward about 4 months ago, Donald Trump files another case in Palm Beach County State Court, in Circuit Court in Palm Beach County, against Letitia James, the New York Attorney General. For those that follow Legal AF, you might be saying to yourself, how can he sue a New York Attorney General about a New York civil fraud investigation down in Florida? And the answer is he can't. And so quickly, Letitia James removed the case to federal court, because you can do that under certain circumstances. Starts in state court, but if you have the grounds, you can take it across the street to federal court. And when it got across the street to federal court, it got assigned to Don Middlebrooks. Immediately, Donald Trump and Alina Habba dismissed their case because they knew that Middlebrooks was going to rule against them and see right through transparently that this lawsuit had no merit. So Donald Trump doesn't want to face Don Middlebrooks and Judge Middlebrooks. So what he does is now, instead of driving up to Vero Beach to hand file something, or Fort Lauderdale, his lawyers electronically filed in Miami, hoping to God, I assume, that it would be assigned to one of a small handful of more conservative, Republican-leaning jurists, ones that were appointed by him especially. There's more of them down there. There's a more likelihood that that could happen, at least the odds. So he took a shot. Unfortunately, the wheel came up Judge Darren Gales. Judge Darren Gales, first openly gay black judge confirmed by the Senate. That Darren Gales. An Obama appointee. That Darren Gales. If you were to construct a judge that Donald Trump didn't want, it would look a lot like Darren Gales. That is now the judge that's going to be hearing all sorts of motion practice that'll be coming out of this case. A motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction, which means, why are we in Miami when the defendant resides in New York? And what is the connectivity or nexus between the defendant and the jurisdiction? If there isn't any, the case gets dismissed for lack of personal jurisdiction. Then let's look at the charges or the claims or cause of action. These are not for defamation, even though he claims he was defamed, Donald Trump, by Cohen. These are breach of contract, breach of covenants for confidentiality, breach of professional responsibility and fiduciary duty that Cohen, as a lawyer then for Trump, is claimed to have owed Donald Trump. It's just an excuse for him to write 400 paragraphs attacking and bashing Michael Cohen while he's the lead witness against Donald Trump in the Stormy Daniels prosecution. And because the judge up there effectively told him, be careful what you say out loud, Donald Trump just converted that into a lawsuit to give him a little bit of litigation privilege. There's a little bit of privilege against defamation that you can do when you're a litigant. And so he did that. And he put it all together and he filed it in the wrong court, in the wrong courthouse, in the wrong state against Michael Cohen. So motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction, for sure. Potentially motions to dismiss because many of these claims date back years before the statute of limitations is probably run. And so therefore, you've got a statute of limitations argument. Before you even get to the merit, do any of these things equate to a breach of fiduciary duty? Do any of them equate to a breach of contract? Do any of them equate to a breach of a confidentiality agreement? That's for the judge to decide. And that judge, as of today, is Judge Darren Gales, Obama appointee in Miami, who formerly had a long and illustrious career in the state court, circuit court in Miami-Dade County as well, before he was elevated to the federal bench. We'll watch this closely. We'll watch the next moves that Michael Cohen will make as a defendant against this lawsuit, and we'll report on it at midweek and on Saturdays on a Legal AF podcast that I co-anchor on the MeidasTouch network. I do these hot takes as well, about every day, if not every hour, on developing stories that sit at the intersection of law and politics. And you can find them on the MeidasTouch network on YouTube as well. You can get our podcast every Wednesdays and Saturdays, everywhere that you can get your podcast from Apple to Spotify to Google. And if you like what I'm doing, you can follow me on social media at MS Popok. This is Michael Popok, Legal AF reporting.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment Season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.meidastouch.com.